One of the most famous and well-known Super Mario games ever is Super Mario 64 that was released in the late 90s. As soon as it hit the scene, it was clear that it was revolutionary for both the gaming industry and platforming genre. And while the Nintendo 64 didn't sell that well, this game became a cult classic. But sadly enough, they didn't make too much money off of it. And so they decided to change that around 7 years later. Because they decided to make and release a remake of the game for the Nintendo DS. And people were incredibly excited. But then, rumors started to go around that multiple characters were supposed to be in the game. And that's when it all went wrong. The year is 2005. Super Mario 64 DS has hit the scene, and it was the first Mario game to be released for the Nintendo DS, and also their first 3D Mario game for a handheld console. This enhanced remake of the Nintendo 64 title blew everyone away, because they even added stuff and improved some things seen in the original. New things related to the storyline, gameplay and graphics were added that almost everyone just loved. And unlike in Super Mario 64, Mario is not the only playable character. In the end, there were 4 playable characters: Yoshi, Mario, Luigi, and Wario. But then, rumors started to surface that there was actually a 5th character in the game that no one actually found. Rumors surfaced around unlocking Waluigi as a playable character. I mean, the other 3 plumbers, Mario, Luigi, and Wario, were unlockable, so his absence seemed suspicious to many. A weird character like Wario was all of a sudden in a mainstream Super Mario game, so where was Waluigi? And so, people began to look into this stuff, and then they actually found something interesting that could lead to a new discovery. Beta screenshots of Super Mario 64 DS showed that a purple rabbit existed in earlier versions of the game, but it was removed for the final game. And so some fans assumed that catching this bunny would have given the player a key to Waluigi's door, unlocking him as a playable character. But there's no rabbit of that color in the final game, and it is not certain what the purple rabbit would have done in the finished version. A picture of the beta purple rabbit can be found on page 30 of the official Super Mario 64 DS instruction booklet, and the placement of the image implies that it would have unlocked minigames like other rabbits. So while this was certainly interesting and could have been it, the community kind of abandoned it because it wasn't going anywhere and it might have been for something else. But this wasn't the only way according to the Mario community. There was another potential way of getting Waluigi. One rumor claimed that Super Mario 64 DS would unlock Waluigi upon 100% completion. You would need to collect every Power Star, unlock every minigame, and obviously defeat Bowser. At that point, you need to go to the top of Princess Peach's castle, and Waluigi could then be found there, where Yoshi normally is in the N64 title. However, all of this was quickly debunked, as Waluigi does not appear on top of the castle after meeting these conditions. So, once again, the community wasn't able to get their hands on their precious Waluigi. However, at that point, they found something else, and it was known as the mysterious black box, which was actually one of the first things players saw, because in the image of Princess Peach's castle on the file select screen, there is a dark gray box that doesn't appear in the in-game model of the castle grounds. And so a rumor emerged that the player could reveal and break this perceived box, leading to a fake sequence of events that would unlock Waluigi and remove the box from the file select screen image. The so-called box is also present in an early build of the game, then called Super Mario 64 X4, that was used at E3 2004. It may have been an alcove in the outside of the castle, perhaps containing a rabbit or cannon that was added and removed in development, but in the end, no one really knows. And, of course, no one could find this magical black box and unlock Waluigi with it. So again, they failed. But then, they stumbled upon something incredibly promising that could finally lead them to the Waluigi Promised Land. In 2005, DeviantArt user King Bowser Koopa posted an image scan of an article titled Purple Prizes, and named the submission Waluigi Waluigi in Super Mario 64 DS, and this article suggests that Waluigi could be unlocked in the game, and provides hints towards unlocking him. For example, you have to find all the stars and be the fastest foot racer in the land. Afterwards, a secret switch will reveal the door, and all that remains at that point is a challenge from the Rabbit King for its key. Once you have that, you can finally play as Waluigi. Aside from that, the article featured a custom 3D model of Waluigi placed in various game locations, such as Bob-omb Battlefield, Cool Mountain, and the castle grounds. And according to this article, Waluigi had springy jumps that were leaps ahead of the competition, and his Power Flower transformation would be the fast-moving warp speed Waluigi. Now in the end, many sources claim that this article was featured on IGN, and so many people tried this. And so the community processed the article's vague hints and tried to unlock Waluigi. But again, they had no success. And 2 days after posting the image, King Bowser Koopa revealed that the image was actually an April Fool's joke. However, it seems like the article was still circulated as legitimate afterwards. So for a very long time, players were being fooled by this well-made fake article. And so, time and time again, they got fooled by hoaxes that claimed Waluigi was in the game. But was he ever actually in Super Mario 64 DS? Or planned to be in it? Is there any evidence of it? Well, let's actually look into the scrapped stuff that never made it into the game, as well as any footage of earlier builds of the game, because there are older builds of the game out there, and the public got to experience that for the first time back in the day during E3. This version focuses more on multiplayer, with the players fighting over a power star, for example, as you can see in the footage right here. It sort of looks like a Mario Party minigame that took a lot of inspiration from Super Mario 64. However, in this footage, Waluigi is nowhere to be seen, and that also goes for this footage of the gang flying around, again, with no Waluigi. But can anything be found within the files of the game? Normally Nintendo and many other developers leave old stuff in here, so maybe we will find something. For this, we will check the Cutting Room Floor website. Here they collect all kinds of information, images, and footage of cut content from video games. And while we can find some cool stuff like a cut red Koopa enemy, nothing suggests that Waluigi was gonna be in the game at any point. Just to give an example, the game contains 3 blocks with MLW that give the player the corresponding character's cap when hit, allowing you to transform into them. However, there isn't one for Waluigi, so clearly there isn't anything in the game that could be tied to Waluigi. So sadly enough, it looks like it was never planned to be in the game. And I bet this makes a lot of people quite depressed. For years, you Waluigi fans got nothing from Nintendo. But maybe one day, Waluigi will be seen in a main series game. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to tell me in the comments down below what you thought about this video, and if you have any suggestions for any other topics. Be sure to subscribe and click the bell button and like this video, because more content like this is coming, and I also have some older videos covering Super Mario Galaxy DS and a 3DS version of Twilight Princess on the channel, so go check those out.
Now, Opera GX is a web browser